Imagine this. One day, you discover that the tech giant that once defined the smartphone era has lost its core talent due to internal political struggles at the most critical technological turning point, watching helplessly as competitors poach their tech stars with sky-high offers. This sounds like a plot from a corporate thriller novel, but it actually happened to Apple. Hey everyone, welcome to Zen Go. I'm your old friend. The story we're diving into today might completely reshape your impression of Apple as a company, or maybe you're already used to this kind of thing. When idealism meets pragmatism, this story starts back in 2023. ChatGPT had already taken the world by storm. The entire tech world was going crazy for large language models, and Apple was beginning its own AI strategy internally. But you know what? Right when Apple needed to showcase its technical prowess the most, a Game of Thrones level internal battle was brewing inside the company. Our main character is a Chinese-American scientist named Ruoming Pang. This guy is no joke. He's a technical heavyweight who jumped ship from Google DeepMind. To land him, Apple not only offered generous compensation, but also made the unprecedented move of letting him stay based in New York instead of relocating to Cupertino headquarters. You could say Apple had high hopes for him, expecting him to lead the fundamental models team in building Apple's version of ChatGPT. But here's the thing about big Silicon Valley companies. They all suffer from the same disease: departmental tribalism. Pang's fundamental models team was all about technical breakthroughs. They wanted to build truly general artificial intelligence, capable large models. Classic tech idealism. On the other side, Apple's software chief, Craig Federighi. Yeah, that guy who's always smiling when he introduces iOS updates at keynotes. His team was more focused on practical features, like writing assistants and content summarization that could immediately ship in products. It's like watching academics versus engineers duke it out. The academics say, "We want to build world-changing technology," while the engineers say, "We want to build products that customers will actually pay for." Both approaches have merit, but when they're under the same roof, fights are inevitable. The open source dream that never was. The catalyst for conflict came out of nowhere. In early 2024, Pang's team proposed a bold idea: open sourcing Apple's self-developed large models. This proposal actually had serious strategic vision. Think about it. Meta open-sourced their Llama model and gained massive influence with the entire developer community, building all kinds of innovations on top of Llama. If Apple had gone the open-source route, they could have showcased their technical capabilities while leveraging the global developer community to continuously improve their models. But Craig Federighi shot down the plan immediately. His reasoning sounded very official. There are already enough open-source models out there. Apple doesn't need to join that party. But in reality, everyone knew the real reason. Apple was afraid of losing face. Imagine if Apple open-sourced their large model only to have everyone discover it performed way worse than GPT-4 or Claude. That would be a catastrophic blow to Apple's brand image. Apple's image has always been premium, advanced, cutting edge. If they were proven to be technically behind in AI, this crucial race, the damage couldn't be measured in just billions of dollars. This decision hit Pang's team like a ton of bricks. All their hard work on technology development, and it wouldn't even see the light of day. How could they prove their worth? It's like preparing meticulously for a speech, only to be told the auditorium is empty. Meta's sky-high poaching, the $200 million talent war. The turning point came in the second half of 2024. Meta caught wind of the opportunity. They knew Apple had internal conflicts, so they began surgical strikes. The package Meta offered Pang was absolutely jaw-dropping. $200 million over 4 years, roughly 1.45 billion yuan. What does that even mean? Even in Silicon Valley, where salaries are already sky high, this was top-tier compensation. More importantly, Meta promised to give Pang enough autonomy and resources to continue pursuing his technical ideals. Compare that to Apple's environment: unclear strategy, complex internal politics, and research results that might get shelved. If you were in his shoes, what would you choose? When Pang announced his departure on LinkedIn, the entire tech world was stunned. This wasn't just one person job hopping. It was a signal that Apple was starting to fall behind in the AI talent war. What made it worse was that Pang's departure triggered a chain reaction. His right-hand man, Tom Gunter, had originally planned to jump to OpenAI, but when he heard his boss was going to Meta, he immediately changed course and followed him there. After that, dozens of people from the fundamental models team started leaving one by one, some to OpenAI, some to Anthropic. It was like a talent exodus, from Apple's future to indefinite delay. The most heartbreaking detail is this: just before Pang left, his team had demonstrated a revolutionary AI assistant prototype to Apple's leadership. This system could handle multi-turn conversations, answer complex questions, and even power a completely new Siri. After watching the demo, Apple's AI chief, John Giannandrea, said just one thing: this is Apple's future. The team members were over the moon, thinking their hard work had finally been recognized. But just weeks later, company leadership announced that the new Siri's launch would be delayed until 2026. No one gave the team advance notice, and no one explained why it was being postponed. Imagine that feeling. You think you've created the company's future, only to be told that future needs to wait another 2 years. That kind of blow would be when ChatGPT exploded onto the scene in late 2022. Apple actually had a chance to respond quickly. Pang's team had already been developing large model technology before that. The technical foundation was there. But at the time, AI chief John Giannandrea wasn't bullish on large models' practical applications, so he chose to wait and see. Just like that, Apple missed a crucial window of opportunity. By the time Apple realized how serious the problem was in 2023, the market landscape was already largely set. OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google had already staked out important positions in large models, and Apple could only scramble to catch up. The new normal of Silicon Valley talent wars. Pang's departure actually reflects a new trend in Silicon Valley talent competition. In the past, big companies like Apple mainly attracted talent through brand influence and stock options. But in the AI era, tech talent has become extremely mobile. Whoever can provide better research environments and clearer development prospects wins the talent war. Meta has been really smart about this. They're not just offering competitive salaries. More importantly, they're giving researchers enough autonomy. Zuckerberg has repeatedly stated publicly that Meta will invest massively in AI and spare no expense to attract top talent. That kind of clear strategic signal matters more than anything to researchers. Looking at Apple, while they have deep pockets, they've been somewhat conservative in their talent strategy. Apple has been used to attracting talent with brand halo and a change the world mission. But in this rapidly evolving AI field, researchers care more about whether they can make truly impactful technical breakthroughs. Technical idealism versus commercial pragmatism. The core of this story is really a clash between two value systems: technical idealism and commercial pragmatism. The technical idealism that Pang represents believes tech companies should pursue breakthroughs at the boundaries of technology, creating innovations that truly change the world. They're willing to take risks of failure, willing to invest in long-term R&D, because they believe technical progress will ultimately create commercial value. The commercial pragmatism that Craig Federighi represents believes a company's primary mission is creating value for users and returns for shareholders. Technology is just a means, not an end. Rather than putting massive effort into cutting-edge tech that might fail, better to focus on improving user experience in existing products. Both viewpoints have merit, but the problem is Apple couldn't find the balance. At this critical AI juncture, Apple showed neither Google's technical ambition nor Microsoft's strategic clarity, instead burning precious time and talent on internal conflicts. Redefining Apple's AI future. Now Apple's fundamental models team is being taken over by Zhifeng Chen, a former Google employee who recently joined Apple. But rebuilding team confidence and stabilizing the talent pipeline isn't as simple as switching out the person in charge. The fundamental question Apple needs to solve is, in the AI era, what kind of company does Apple want to be? Continue being a hardware plus software integrator, treating AI as part of product features, or make a real mark in AI technology itself, becoming a major player in this field? If they choose the former, they'd have to accept that Apple might never reach OpenAI or Google's level in AI technology, but could focus on better integrating existing AI tech into Apple's ecosystem. If they choose the latter, they'd have to give research teams enough resources, time, and autonomy, plus have the courage to accept failure risks. That would mean Apple's corporate culture needs major adjustments. From current signs, Apple is more likely to choose the former. The launch of Apple Intelligence embodies this thinking. Rather than developing large models in-house, integrate existing AI technology and focus on optimizing user experience. But this choice has risks too. In AI's rapid development era, if Apple becomes overly dependent on external suppliers for core technology, they might end up in a passive position in future competition. Imagine if one day OpenAI or Google decided to stop providing API services to Apple or dramatically raised prices. What would Apple do? A new chapter in Silicon Valley legend, Pang's departure story tells us that even tech giants like Apple can make mistakes when facing technological transitions. Management failures, strategic ambiguity, cultural conflicts. These seemingly internal problems ultimately manifest through talent exodus. But this doesn't mean Apple is doomed to decline. Historically, Apple has weathered much bigger crises and bounced back. The key is whether Apple can learn from this setback and find its own path in AI development. For us tech watchers, this story reminds us, in the rapidly changing tech industry, there are no permanent kings, only constant adaptation and evolution. Today's leaders might become tomorrow's laggards, while today's challengers might become tomorrow's champions. Talent will always be tech companies. most important asset. How to attract, develop, and retain top talent will determine a company's position in the next technological cycle. Apple's talent crisis might just be the beginning of a complete Silicon Valley reshuffling. Alright, that's it for today's deep dive. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We'll see you next time.